Hello everyone. In the last session we started with introduction to classes and objects. We got to know how to create class in Python and how to create object in Python. So we will discuss some more things about classes and objects. Okay, we were discussing about one of the class called rectangular class, right? Rectangular class and each point class also, and each rectangular class will have one object called corner, which is of point class. Means each rectangle will be made up of a point which indicates x coordinate and y coordinate, that is called as a corner. We will see how to write a method for particular class and how to call that particular method using object of the class. Okay, for that, as you know, we need to write complete program. So let us consider a class point. This is the class point which has some two attributes. So let me write an empty class. So if you want to create P1 object, you can create a P1 object point like this. You can create a P1 object, and if you want to store some value, P1 is equal to 10 and P1 dot y is equal to 5. So these are the two members of a point class. Point has two members, x and y. In the same way, you can consider a rectangular class rectangle close, and again it's an empty class initially. Okay, then we should consider width. So let us create the object first. So R1 is equal to rectangle. Okay, then R1 dot width is equal to, let us say, 20 width, and R1 dot height, let us say 40 is the height. And we need also a corner point. For that we are writing R1 dot corner is equal to, it's a point object. Then you can tell what is the x value. Corner dot x is equal to, so let us consider 5. R1 dot corner dot y is equal to 5. So this is a rectangle class with width and height. Okay, and this is a corner of that particular rectangle. Let me write a rectangle. Assume that this is 5 comma 5. So we have the width is 20, height is 40. So this value will be 5 plus 20, it is 25 around. This will be 5 plus 40, 45 around. So now we need to write a method of this particular class which finds what is the midpoint of this particular rectangle. When you pass R1 has what all information? R1 has got width information, height information, also a corner information. You need to find out what is the midpoint of this particular rectangle. How do you find midpoint of this particular rectangle? It is nothing but width divided by 2, right? Width divided by 2 plus what is this x value, means x is 5, width divided by 2 is 10. You cannot say 10 and 40 divided by 2, it is 20. You cannot say 10 comma 20 is a midpoint. No, 10 around here, 20 around here. This cannot be a midpoint, right? This cannot be a midpoint. Obviously this cannot be a midpoint because we have a origin corner point also. You need to add x value and y value with these two values, then you will get 10 plus 5 it is 15, 20 plus 5 it is 25. So these two are the midpoints of this particular rectangle. So 15 around it will come over, it is 25. So 15 is like this here 15, then it is 25 over here. So we will get this as a midpoint. For that we need to write a code to find the midpoint of any rectangle. If you pass R1 or if you pass R2, R3 with different values, still your program should be able to find the midpoint. So let me write. So for that again we need to consider as a definition midpoint. Let us consider object. So here we are not declaring any object, means we are not having any data type for particular parameter. So we are simply having obj, right. Then I will create a midpoint point. Let me consider to store the value, because again whenever you find the midpoint, even midpoint is a point, right. It is of type point class which has got two values. So for that I am considering a object, again I am creating m is equal to point object. Okay, m is equal to point object. Then I will store what is m dot x. What is m dot x? As we know, m dot x is equal to what? We should know what is the corner. So for that I will write. So what is the object we are passing? We are passing obj object, means I am calling this midpoint function with some object. Let me call this object with what? Midpoint of R1. When I call midpoint of R1, it should able to pass this value to this midpoint method. So let us write obj dot corner dot x plus what? Plus obj dot width divide by 2. So this is the x midpoint. In the same way, m dot y is equal to obj dot corner dot y plus obj dot height value, it is again divided by 2. So finally you can return, if you want you can return the object also. So return what? You can return obj, means you are returning the object itself. So not return m obj, it should be return m, because midpoint point object is returned back, where it contains two information, that is x value and y value. So we have class called point, we have class called rectangle, okay. Then we have midpoint, then we are passing one object. So and we are creating a midpoint here over here, and we are calculating the x and y value using the simple formula. Then we are returning back the object information. So let me call this particular midpoint. Let us consider we need a point object. So let me consider point. Let us say P2 is equal to point, then P2 is equal to midpoint of R1. So R1 is already created, we have created R1. So assume that we have written this particular class outside the rectangular class, and also we have a definition for particular method. So then the R1 object is passed to the midpoint function, it will go to midpoint. What is the R1 information? It has got width and height and a corner information, it will be passed to the midpoint, okay. Then the calculation is done, it is returned back to P2. P2 is of type whenever we return, so the return data type should be whatever it has got received back. So point is like midpoint is returning back a point object, again P2 becomes a point object. Then if you want, you can print, so P2 dot x comma P2 dot y. So these two values are printed. The same way, if you want to pass, let us say I will consider this as 40, this is 60, corners are let me write 10 comma 5 like this. Then how do we get to know? So there will be a rectangle which is 40 in width, 60 in height. The midpoint is 10 comma 5. Sorry, or corner is 10 comma 5. How do you find out the midpoint? Midpoint is nothing but 10 plus 40 divided by 2. So it is 50 divided by 2 means 25. Then 5 plus 60 divided by 2, it is 65 divided by 2, almost 33. So 33, 25 comma 33 are the midpoints. So in the same way here we are calling a midpoint with R1, it will go to object, M object, M object is created of type point. Then corner is what? What is the corner value? 10 plus width is 40 divided by 2. So that will be stored back to x value. In the same way, corner dot y value, that is 5 plus 60 divided by 2, that is 33, is stored back to m dot y, finally returning back the m value. So P2 contains m value, then P2 value gets printed. So this is how we write methods in classes, like it's a member of that particular class. Okay, we are writing a method which is trying to access some objects. We got to know there are some different data types, data structures which are mutable and immutables. Let us say list is a mutable data structure, whereas tuples are immutables. You cannot change the value of tuples. In the same way, strings are immutables, you cannot change. In the same way, the objects are mutable. You can change the value of objects once they are stored. For example, you can consider R1 dot width is 40. Later in time you can change R1 dot width as 100. It is possible. Okay. Let me consider one more example to explain this. So we have a rectangle. So I need to increase the rectangle as my wish. Whenever I call some function called increase or grow rectangle or increase the width of the rectangle with passing of parameters like object, how much value to be increased, like width values as well as height values. Let me consider a rectangle, again same rectangle I will consider. Assume that this is a 40, this is 60. So this is the rectangle. Now I want to increase width by 10 points and height by 5 points. Then your rectangle should look like, so this is the old rectangle, new rectangle will be 10 points in the width, height will be of 5 points. So this is a new rectangle. Means even though you have a old value, if you want to change to new value, you can change. So the old value will be just removed and new value will get stored. That is what called as a mutable things. Means you can change value as per your requirement. So here let me write again a small function. So def, let me consider grow rectangle, grow rect. So you need to pass some value, let us say obj. Then what is increase in width, increase in height. So I am taking 3 parameters now. What is the object to be passed? What is the increase in width and increase in height? So when you write like this, so you can consider obj dot width, obj dot width is equal to obj dot width plus IW, means actual width is 40 plus 10, 50 will be stored back to obj width. In the same way, obj dot height is equal to obj dot height plus IH, correct? Yes or no? So this is how you access how you change the value. So let us consider, let me run this program from terminal. So if you want to check print what is rectangular, that is R1. So let me consider here, let me call R1 dot grow rectangle of R1 comma 10 comma 5. When you pass like this, grow rectangle R1 comma 10 comma 5, so it will go to grow rectangle with R1 values, R1 width 40 plus 10 is added, stored back to obj, then R1 dot height is 60, 60 plus 5, 65 gets stored. Now whenever you print before calling, assume that you are calling, if you want to check what is the width and height, so R1 dot width comma R1 dot height. If you try to call, then you will get 40 and 60. So again, if you call after grow rectangle, assume that here you are calling a grow rectangle. So again, if you print the values, so you will get the values as 50 comma 65, 50 and 65. So that is how we call it as, that is how we prove it as objects are mutable. You can change the value as per your requirements. You can keep on changing the values of object. Okay, next we have copying of objects from one object to other object. Copying. There are two types of copy, shallow copy and deep copy. We will discuss about that, shallow copy and deep copy. So whenever, let us I have class called point class, then I have a object called P1 where I have P1x is 10, P1y is 5. Let me consider P2 is equal to, okay, let me consider an example point. So we have copying of object from one to other. So for that we need to import a copy module. Let me write. So import copy. So then we have copy dot copy of P1, means I am trying to copy the content of P1 to P2, means now there is a point called P1, which has got two information, x is 10, y is 5, and I want to copy the content of P1 to P2. Then I have another point where even that point has got the same information 10 comma 5. Now I wanted to check whether both P1 and P2 are same, means to say if I change P1 value, whether it will affect P2 value. No, it will not affect, because we are doing a copy, a normal copy, or I can say shallow copy. It will copy only the values, but both the points are in a different memory location. They have different behavior. They are equivalent only with respect to values, not with respect to the behavior. Means behavior in the sense, not with respect to the address or a location of those data. So to check, if you say P1 is, there is a is keyword, P1 is P2, you will get false result, false as a result. P1 object is P2 object, is P1 is a P2, so then we will say false, it is not, it is a false result. So there is a one more checking whether P1 is equal to P2. P1 is equal to P2, whether you will get true as a result, no again. So here double equals behave in different way for object. When I write whether 3 is equal to 3, it works. You will get a result as true, because here we are the double equal will work with variables or numbers. It is fine, but double equals, when I perform double equals with objects, it will not check for equivalence, it will not check for values, it will check whether both are pointing to the same memory location. Again I will get a false as a result. If you want to create a same copy of information, then you should use what? P2 is equal to copy dot deep copy of P1. Now if I perform whether P1 is P2, yes, I will get true as a result. Whether P1 is equal to P2, I will get a true as a result, because we are performing a deep copy. Understood? I have created one object. I am trying to copy the content of P1 to P2 as a normal copy. Then, so whether P1 is P2, I will get a false. Whether P1 is P double equals P2, I will get a false result. So what if you use assignment operator? When you use assignment operator, then it is a reference copy. It is called as reference copy. Again, I can say it's just a deep copy, means P1 is same, P2 is also same. Both are pointing to same location. Whenever you change P1 value, it will reflect to the P2 value. So if you perform only single equals, not P2 is equal to P1 is equal to P2, it is P2 is equal to P1. So P2 is equal to P1. So P1 is reference is copied to P2 value, means a single memory location. It won't create two copies, single memory location with two names, P1 and P2. So that is what happens in deep copy. Okay, let me write the same example for our rectangular object. Let me consider there is a R1 object already. I want to copy what? One more rectangle with same value. Then what happened? How to write? So you should write what? R1 dot copy, then dot copy. R2 is equal to copy dot copy of R1. Now if you write like this, so this will create two separate copy. Yes or no? Yes, right. As per our knowledge, it will create two separate copy, means R1 has got a width as 40 and 60, and it has got also a corner 10, 5. So the corner, let me write, it has got one more object called what? Corner object. This is the R1 object with the values are 10, 5. As per our previous knowledge, there should be two separate copies. As we got to know, P1 is separate, P2 is separate. But so assume like when we copy R1 to R2, again it will create, obviously it will create two separate copies, 40, 60, but it won't create separate copy of a reference objects. It won't create. Whenever you use a shallow copy, for reference object, means objects are copied separately. Two objects created separately in shallow copy. If you use normal copy, two separate copies are created, but the reference to the current object, will not get separated, means there will be no copy of reference object, means still the R2 dot corner is pointing to the same location, means R2 dot x, R2 dot y is pointing to the same location of r1 dot x, r2 dot x. But r1 dot width is different location, r1 dot height is different location than r2 dot width and r2 dot height. Width and height are different memory locations, but corner is not in the corner is at the same location. Again, if you want to check whether r1 is r2, whether r1 is r2, so you will get what? You will get again false as a result. Both are not same. So we have two objects. Okay, here we have two objects. Whenever again, if you want to check whether R2 is R1, you will get a false as a result, or if you perform R2 is equal to R1, so you will get false as a result, because it's a normal copy. You have got a two separate copy of information in a two different location. So in the same way we have discussed whether P1 is P2 in the form of copy, it is false, which is false, means they are separate two copies, they are not pointing to the same location, they are not pointing to the same location, two separate values are created. In the same way here, two separate values got created, but when you perform r1 dot corner is equal to whether r2 dot corner, so you will get true as a result, or if you say r1 dot corner is r2 dot corner, so you will get a true as a result, because both are pointing to the same location. So both are pointing to the same location, because the inner reference objects are not copied, only outer objects are created separately. So if you want to create two separate copies, means if you want to have corner for this object also, R2 object also, so then obviously you should be knowing that. So R2 is equal to copy dot deep copy. Deep copy of R1, then two separate copies get created, two separate individual copies get created for R2. Okay, this is how we copy objects using two methods. One is a shallow copy, other one is a deep copy. In shallow copy, inner object or reference objects are not they are not copied, but in deep copy, even the internal objects or internal reference objects created as a copy.